We are in a fascist moment. And one of the reasons they're so serious about it is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back.
My father died in China after we escaped North Korea, and I had to bury him at 3 a.m. in Sacred.
After losing her job on MSNBC, race hustler Joy Reid has gone to one place where her bio would be most well received: Black entertainment television.
Don't allow anyone to change you. Look yourself in the mirror every morning and say, hey, you are the baddest thing in the world. All that's left is for us to tell the truth, to scream out the truth. And so if that means I have to be an activist, then that's what I'm willing to be.
Here she returns to her old shtick, whining about racism in America, which is rich considering her family actually immigrated from Guyana.
And I mean, and as somebody who's, my parents, my father was from the Congo and my mother was from Guyana. And so they were the immigrants who came here on purpose and they got the rude awakening. My mother got the rude awakening, like, oh, it's racist here. That's weird. For some reason, she was.
Nobody told me. Why don't you school?
Yeah, she's like, they didn't tell me this is the land of opportunity, but not for me. It's weird.
They determined that this place wasn't for people like them. Of course, all this just rings hollow when she's been given various platforms over the years, including the one at MSNBC, where until 2024, she was earning $3 million a year. Yes, $3 million.
What?
So unless her bank account was infected with some kind of tapeworm, I'd say whatever the United States has given her and her race has worked out pretty well. So yes, please tell us more about how there's no opportunity for people like you. Inform us how it's impossible for blacks to succeed in America because of racism, white supremacy, and fascism or something. The insinuation, of course, is that there's no place in America for blacks to be successful. And she comes out and says it. Because after all, how can blacks succeed with the specter of white supremacy hanging over their head?
I mean, and one of the things that, people say is alarmist to say, but it is just true, is that we are in a fascist moment. Mm-hmm. And what that means is a right-wing, white nationalist, white supremacist moment, and that is centered around hierarchy. Right. That there is a group of people who say that there should be a hierarchy in society with white men at the top, with black people at the bottom, with women near the bottom.
You want to get an honest paying job? White supremacy. You want to get a college degree? White supremacy. You want to be the president of the United States of America? No, white supremacy. Wait, that one doesn't fit, does it? But this distortion of reality just shows how sick and twisted she really is.
And one of the reasons they're so serious about it is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back.
Now, if this is what she thinks the fascist, white supremacist reality is, then sign me up. Oh no, how dare we have lower taxes and have to take care of ourselves instead of having constant handouts from the government. No, please, any future but that.
Stop, don't come back.
But here's the truth. To someone who has abused her skin color as a point of privilege, yes, I said it, as someone who has abused her black privilege all her life, of course, having her political side lose power does come off as fascism.
Hasn't it occurred to you how convenient this whole operation has been?
Losing the ability to press the issue on that one thing you're good at must be absolutely terrifying for you, Joy. Losing her cushy job as a dedicated race hustler on MSNBC must have been very hard on her. And coming to terms with the fact that after years of injecting the country with a daily dose of invectives and vitriol, no one wants her medicine anymore.
This is very bad juju right here.
Times are changing, and it seems they're changing for the better. At the very least, if the future has fewer joyless Reids in it and more patriots who actually want to put forward the principles of good and integrity that actually work, then that's the future for me, no matter what she thinks about it. As long as our future is united by principle, honor, respect, regardless of race and background, as long as our future is full of people who respect the dignity and uniqueness of human life, and respects the individuality and rights endowed by our Creator, then that's the future I believe in. And dear viewer, if you happen to be of the darker persuasion as I am, or as the left will call me, African American, no one was set foot in Africa, then I believe you should aspire to heroes of old like Booker T. Washington or Frederick Douglass. Instead of appealing to our lowest common denominator and going out of our way to purposely see the worst in the world, the worst in our country, we should hold our heads high and act with integrity, intelligence, and discipline. Because America truly is the land of opportunity. And it's a shame to see people like Joy Reid just waste it.
And the only time they saw a black man is that he was their butler and their driver.
Right.
They really miss the hierarchical past that we tried to leave behind. But that's not that old. We're talking about the 1950s. They desperately want that world back, if not the 40s, 30s, or the 1890s. So the goal of trying to force the country backwards to that late 19th century or early 20th century, they're very serious about.
Although the irony is not lost on me that America is supposedly so racist that it paid her $3 million a year to constantly remind us about our racism. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife.
I think of myself as an activist journalist. You know, I'm fundamentally a journalist, but I do believe that you have to be an activist if you're a journalist, because we're kind of the last thing standing between us and fascism.
So I think I speak for all of us when I say,
Don't let the door hit you with a good Lord split you. Bye.
Song from the future here. Reviewing her interview further, she seems to be stuck in the 60s. She spends a lot of time talking about her mother and how blacks weren't afforded a lot of privileges. But unfortunately, that mindset or worldview just hasn't adapted. I'm not sure exactly what causes this, as I've seen it from many academics and even everyday people in real life, but it appears to be completely beyond people like Joy Reid. To imagine that the children and grandchildren of those responsible for the heavy racism of the past might just not be the same. It's beyond her to think that the civil rights era actually managed to usher in a new America. It's beyond her to think that the children could possibly have differentiated from their parents as the world became more and more connected. So, pairing this mindset with her leftist ideology, believing that the right is just racist and fascist and xenophobic or whatever, you end up with this toxic clause that's pessimistic, unrealistic, and frankly just unable to move forward. It's sad, really. So instead of Joy Reid, we should have people like Yeonmi Park, who was a refugee from North Korea and detailed her harrowing story of how she and I think her mother had to escape through China and eventually made their way to South Korea. I don't even remember if her mother survived the journey or not, but hearing her detail a lot of the struggles that they had in North Korea and seeing how thankful she is to finally be in the land of opportunity really puts perspective in mind to what is actually fascism.
North Korea is an unimaginable country. We aren't free to sing, say, wear, or think what we want. I thought the North Korean dictator could read my mind. My father died in China after we escaped North Korea, and I had to bury him at 3 a.m. in secret. I was 14 years old. I couldn't even cry. I was afraid to be sent back to North Korea.
What is actual authoritarianism? To see people actually suffering in a slave state like North Korea, and compare it to the United States where people come here from other countries and then complain about how they just can't make it as they get a $3 million salary. We need more people who are grateful about the opportunity they have instead of constantly complaining and spreading division about the perceived fascism that frankly doesn't even exist.
You went to Columbia University. When you describe what you encountered, even your first week,
First day.
your first day, it sounds made up.
I mean, my classmates, perfectly lovely people. They're in their like Lululemon $100 like yoga pants. I mean, for me in North Korea, I ate plants to survive with my bunny. Now they eat like salad to skin. I was very offended in America. People do that, right? I did not know the problem in America is having too much food. And they were telling me they're oppressed, like Colombia.
Let someone say I'm anti-immigrant. No, I'm anti-Americans. I'm against whoever is against this country and is against our principles. I'd rather have 100,000 North Koreans than even one Joy Reid. I am tired of people coming to this country, taking us for everything that we have that's good, and then throwing it back in our face and blaming our prosperity on spin the wheel on whatever big overarching transgression we're supposed to blame today.
I'd like to solve the puzzle.
Right?
White colonialism and white supremacy.
If I were the emperor of the universe, I would happily deport Joy Reid to whatever other country she thinks is great. Name it, I don't care. Just leave. You're doing all of us a favor. We don't need your kind anymore.
You can stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
If you like this kind of content, check out my other videos. Normally I do cultural or political issues with the occasional media review thrown in. I want to do a follow-up video on Aztec Batman actually, now that that's out, but I don't really want to pay them a single cent. What I've seen of the reviews, it doesn't look that good, and it seems to have pretty much gone the way I thought it would in the trailer. low quality slop. Or if that doesn't interest you, check out some other video. I've done some React content with Shio on Head. I've talked about the situation with Charlie Kirk. Or if you want something more informative, check out this other video where I talk about how so many Americans are just illiterate. But this one story about Joy Reid came across my desk yesterday, and it repulsed me so much, and the idiocy was just so perverse that I couldn't wait to make a video about it. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Do you believe in the joy? Do blacks not have opportunity in America? Are we truly just buried under white supremacy, Christian nationalism, fascism, and racism and sexism and bigotry? Or is she and her family merely ungrateful for the station and opportunities they were given? And thus, every issue is permanently and irredeemably tainted in her mind. Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!